This is Dragy Pro. This device collects telemetry data about your ride. This video will be about Dragy Pro, but I need a reference, and this will be my trusted friend Racebox. We are going to have a look at Dragy Pro that is made for the track and compare it to Racebox, which is also made for the track, but I'm not going to use it on the track. I'm going to use it in my day-to-day life. Confusing? Well, it won't be after you watch this. A Dragy video without being on the racetrack? Yeah. So the comparison that I wanted to do with Dragy Pro and Racebox was the accuracy, and by that I mean the accuracy on the map. So you can see here when I try to turn the bike to ride where I came from, so to say, you can see when Dragy Pro is quite accurate. You can see the little twists and turns which you cannot see on the Racebox map. But to Racebox defense, I think I know what's going on, because Racebox, when it thinks you're standing still, it will discard that data, and since I'm not moving enough, I think it's discarding it. And because here, as soon as I start driving, it records. When looking at the speed, and you can see that it's a little bit mismatched by maybe 1/10 of a second or something between the two, and that has nothing to do with one being better than the other or more accurate. It's just trying to sync it up in the program later on, because I'm doing the video with one device and doing the telemetry with another device. So later on I have to sync these things together, and I did the best job I could, and it's still just maybe a 1/10 difference between them. But so my point here is that there is no difference. They're both just as accurate, I think. So if you have a look at the yellow line, you can see that sometimes the Dragy Pro and the Racebox deviate a little bit. It's not much, but from time to time they don't show exactly the same thing, and I don't know which one is more correct. I just know that it deviates a bit. And why there are two yellow lines? Because I did the run 2 times. So here you can see that I'm going on the left, and they both come together, but here you have that Racebox has 2 lines there for a bit, but Dragy Pro only had 1. So there are some small differences, and there you can see Dragy Pro had 2 lines, but Racebox had just 1. So my point is that there is a little bit of difference between the two. I have to acknowledge that there is one thing that I could not do with Dragy Pro, and that is 50 to 100 kilometers per hour, which is about 30 to 60 miles per hour. And I usually do that because these kinds of speeds you use when you go onto the highway. So I fancy measuring those speeds, but I could not use anything like 0 to 100 or 50 to 100, nothing of that. And I have no idea why, but it could be just a mismatch between the app and the program on the PC that I use. I don't know, but I have to acknowledge I could not do it. That was too bad. Otherwise, everything else that I usually use worked. I often want to track where I've been riding. The other day I went on a planless ride, and a while in I came to a crossroad where I turned right, but after the uphill climb which was asphalt. There was gravel. I did not have time to stop before the gravel, so I slowly turned and went back to the crossroad and took the other way. By tracking the ride, I can later on figure out where the graveled road was, so I don't go there again. Sometimes I go on a group ride. Then it is also nice to know exactly what roads we went on. If you want to use Dragy to track your ride when you're out with your fellow riders, or if you're going on a solo ride, you can. Even if it's made for the racetrack, it can be used for the day-to-day rides as well. So, how to do this? Inside of Dragy Lab you connect. When connected, you click on record and then you go on your ride. When that is done, you click on the little download arrow. And here you can see some rides that I've been on that I have not downloaded, and the ones in the bottom I already saved. So let's choose one of them. When download is done, you need to select a track. So it's important that you created one in forehand, but when you go on a ride, you might not be anywhere near the track that you created, but that doesn't matter. You need to create a track. So I'll choose E22. Here's a start line as I use the track. So here is the ride, and the track is actually nowhere. Yeah, there you have the start and finish line of the track. But I was not even near that one. But that doesn't matter. But you need to have a track. That's important. I will save. At this point you can export the file to the computer. And you do this by going to History. And then select your track. Just hold the finger on the track you want to export. And then you export data to .vbo file. And this file you can use with Telemetry program on your computer. And the result can, for example, look like this. I use a program called Telemetry Overlay, and inside that program I can select a whole bunch of different gauges. I have my favorites that I usually use. It's often a map, it's the speed, it's the lean angle, and some other feature. So for the rest of the video you will follow along on this ride. Thank you for watching this far, and please feel free to hit that like button, and also if you think I've deserved it, please hit that subscribe button.